So, should we spend quite a lot of money on a memorial to the late Queen Elizabeth? So we're not talking just a lot of money, we're talking a big lot, a bigly lot. 46 million. Leading artists and architects are being asked to put forward ideas for a national memorial to the Queen. It has this provisional budget of up to 46 million from public funds. The tribute will stand near the Mall and serve as a permanent memorial to the country's longest reigning monarch. So is that a reasonable amount of money to spend on a monument? What do you think?
So, well, look, I think one of the lovely things about the country that we live in is we have buildings, monuments, parks, lakes, constructed at big expense by previous generations that make this a beautiful country to live in, largely. And I can't think of anything better to spend money on than honouring our late Queen in an imaginative way. She really was the best of us. I still miss her, Jeremy. She was an amazing monarch. And to honour her properly and for future generations to see by what we build how much we appreciated her.
Now, who's that archbishop? Let's do an archbishop hunt. Who was it who did it? Oh, that's hard. Coggan. I'm going to go Donald Coggan. I don't know. What an amazing life, though, to be around before colour film.
Yeah. She was around before the Christmas broadcast she televised.
I'm loving this. Who are they? There's Princess Margaret, Snowdon.
There she is. There's something so evocative about black and white images.
Bless her. All right, Tessa, what do you think? I know it's a lot of money, but then you can't buy class.
I enjoyed very much Tim's eloquent eulogy on the value of great monumentalism and how great our Queen was. Almost briefly had a sort of reform moment there, a little spasm. But
come on over, the water's warm, you can join in.
It might happen. It might yet happen.
Right, but I have to urge caution. I've just done an extensive project, Britain in 100 Monuments, and looking at them through the ages. There's a great thing called perspective, and perspective comes with just a little bit of time. And this feels like an undignified scramble to stud out yet another statue in our very crowded metropoles.
It doesn't have to be a statue.
But it will be something.
Well, what
like
else could it be? A waterfall?
What else? Yeah.
Or?
What would you have?
It could be a bridge. They're talking about replacing a bridge, I think, in St James's Park. It could be a series of gardens. It could be something to do with horses. You know, the whole thing. I think they're running a competition so that creative designers from Britain, from around the Commonwealth, can come up with ideas to honour the Queen.
And Diana had a stream, yeah.
There could be a little statue or an image of the Queen somehow in the middle of this.
We've had an issue with statues recently where people have done bad statues, and in fact one of her and Prince Philip was done.
I think that was in Northern Ireland, where we know the royal family for certain parts of the community. You know, I've been down the Shankill Road recently. I just couldn't believe the number of pictures of King Charles that were. It was extraordinary.
But what about something like that in St James's
Well, no, that's
Park?
clearly hideous, and it was done in a hurry.
Is it hideous? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's out
Prince
of proportion. Philip. It's kitschy. You might not put it on your mantelpiece.
Okay.
But it's there for certain reasons. As I say, it's County Antrim. There have been other. If you go to York Minster, there's a statue of the Queen erected for the Platinum Jubilee. I went to Canterbury Cathedral. Who would know? But Elizabeth and Philip recently reincarnated. These are my pickies, actually. There's one from Canterbury Cathedral as well, where they stand together, the two of them. So it's not like we haven't been reproducing images of the Queen. For example, the Victoria Monument. The golden belly button just outside Buckingham Palace. That took a decade or so. I think it took more than 2 decades eventually to finish. Money coming in, incidentally, from all over the empire, as was then. Yeah. And as a result, we have a centrepiece for all time. But 2 decades as opposed to a couple of years. I just think this is too fast. I want to put a go-slow break on it. We just let's give it 10 years. Just let's sit back to work out what she meant.
I have a lot of sympathy with that, actually. We don't need to rush this.
No.
But equally, it may well be that in the next 2 years, amazing ideas come forward. I don't think we have... why don't we say, if good ideas come forward in the next 2 years... Let's get on with it.
Should it not be a statue? I'm just thinking that the idea of doing something like a laser, it's just not her. No. She's a creature of the post-war period, bless her. it just feels like you need something permanently in stone, rock.
Oh yeah, she's
and maybe a
conventional.
massive rock.
She's hugely conventional. Jeremy's hit the button.
I would do something with an enormous piece of granite with maybe a hat on top or something.
Do you know what upsets me the most? Do you know where I would have put her? And I think it's a no-brainer. We've really got bored of the conceptual art now. Even wacky artists, I think, have got bored of conceptual art on the fourth plinth in
I don't know
Trafalgar
what
Square.
conceptual art is. Sorry.
Well, you know, all the sort of bonkers creations. See, you don't even, it no longer registers, but on the fourth plinth in
I see,
Trafalgar
like an ice
Square,
cream or...
They always are putting new stuff
yeah.
up. I think let's just say we've done that and let's bang up the Queen on a horse, an equine statue, taking us back to the days of Charles I.
The phrase, we could rephrase that, but I think the issue, I think, with the Queen on the horse, there's an ongoing issue when you go down, let's say, the Mall, centre of London, forgive me, but we're in the capital city here, and you see 4 or 5 statues, and the thing you notice is that the statue makers, the sculptors, didn't talk to each other, probably didn't live in the same century, and they're all different sizes.
Right.
And it just drives me nuts. So you've got like Nelson is 15 feet tall. And then you've got, I think it's Montgomerie outside the Ministry of Defence. He could be playing Subbuteo. He's so small. And I think we've got... So you
No
know
one
what
plays
size...
Subbuteo
What
anymore.
size do you make it? Yeah.
But the plinth you can scale, because the plinth is only yon by ye, and you can look back to a couple of our ancestors, one of whom lost his head, and work out your scaling. I'm just saying...
Would you put her on the 4th plinth in Trafalgar Square?
Oh, that's where I want her. And a woman on a
good
horse.
idea.
And also health and safety, because she never wore a helmet. Would she be wearing a riding hat? It would be
No,
wonderful.
of course she wouldn't. Of course she wouldn't.
One little idea. We've got, do you remember, of course, that famous Platinum Jubilee film that she did with Paddington?
Yes.
There, which was so evocative. We've got, in Salisbury, where I live, we have a Paddington sat on a park bench on his own. And I don't know quite how this would work, I'm thinking alive, but in a way, the extraordinary thing about the Queen now is she's no longer with us. And almost not representing her in a way that we see her absent alongside a Paddington or alongside the nation.
That's a lovely idea.
Because somehow...
That's a lovely idea.
Somehow communicating, there's a gap now where she...
I'm so tempted to get my iPad out and try and create what you just said, because I think that's a beautiful idea, that there's an empty chair, essentially, you know. Ruth in Lincolnshire, what about that? Tim's got a good idea there, hasn't he? But I don't know whether you pay 46 million for it.
Hello, Jeremy. Hello to the
Hiya.
panel. My mind is blown. We're talking about £46 million. Now, everything that I was going to say, you know, the statue on the church, the bronze statue, to me, that when I look at that, I think of Coronation Street. How many more memorials do we need for Elizabeth? If she needs to be remembered in a physical item, was she that memorable in the first place?
Well, we've got lots of memorials to Victoria, haven't we? We got. In fact, not many of Queen Elizabeth I, actually. We haven't got many of Henry VIII.
But that was before we commemorated.
We didn't used to do statues.
Yeah.
So could we not just do one big one, Ruth?
Well, you know, in that case, why have we done the 2 small ones? I'm just thinking £46 million when you've got people choosing between heating and eating. It definitely needs to be put on the back burner, but really, £46 million.
No, I know. The more you say it, the bigger it sounds. Thank you, Ruth. Bless you. Happy Christmas. I think I can say Happy Christmas now. Ian in Warwickshire, hi.
Hi, Jeremy.
We're trying to imagine this statue, and we can't imagine anything that's going to cost enough.
No, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be generous and spend 10 grand.
No, come on, because you're not going to get the guys to move the forklift for that, are you? You've got to go up to $1 million, let's say. But let's say $1 million, right?
No, that's so short-sighted. The Wallace Monument is one of the commemorating William Wallace, actually built about sort of 600 or 700 years after the great freedom fighter of Scotland died. But that is one of Scotland's most visited tourist attractions.
Yeah.
You can climb up it, you can look out of it.
Right.
It generates revenue since it was built in the late 19th century. So actually, if you do this cleverly, it's a revenue generator.
A moment of unity here, because we always get these conversations. The royal family cost us this amount of money next year, and it's a waste of money when people are hungry, etc. But they're definitely a huge attraction for this country.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why people come to this country from America around the world is because of the palaces are still real palaces. They're not empty palaces like in Paris and France.
Yeah.
People come here because the royal family is still real.
Ian, I'm just thinking thinking of something that people could visit and do something in. So the obvious idea would be a gigantic sort of elevator.
I think the biggest problem here is £46 million.
Well,
I think £46 million should be going towards making more hospital beds. Because currently, at the minute, you've got loads of
hospital beds.
But listen, in 100 years, we're all dead, right? So we need to think beyond that, don't we, Ian? As much as we need the beds.
But currently, Jeremy, you've got ambulances
throughout
the country sitting outside hospitals and can't respond to calls. They can't get through the doors. Spending £46 million on a statue or a monument is
hang on a minute, Ian.
outrageous.
What if the king donated? What if he matched what the government put up? Now you're talking.
Okay.
I mean, he's one of the richest men in Britain. The government gives X, the king matches it.
Thank you, Ian. Fatima in Hampshire, hi.
Hello, Germany. I was just thinking the same way the gentleman earlier saying, is this 46 million? It's 46 million. It's not pennies.
Everyone is obviously just... Am I being set up here? All everyone wants to do is say 46 million down the phone. I know.
And the rest, the people just manage to put their food on the table, and some people do without.
I know, and you know, it's a funny...
million.
We're doing a story later on about the fact that post office prosecutions are going to take 2 years or so. You're thinking, like, where's this money going? What's it? HS2, they built a bat tunnel over it.
At least we'll have
for
something
100
at the end
million.
of this, Fatima. We will, if it's done well.
Yeah, but it needs to
something
be...
forever.
Can one of your researchers at the back, Jeremy, give us a number for the sort of British tourism industry? You know, the number of people that come to visit the royal sites, because then we can start saying 289 million equals 289 million, because this is not spending, this is an investment.
And if
this
it was
is an investment in an attraction that people will come to.
Only if it's done well. Look at the Diana statues. Diana statue's a disaster in
Well, of course,
Kensington
and also, strangely, all this thing of let's do a stream that represents Diana, no one really is aware of that. What is it called, a Diana River or something?
Yeah, and there's also the fountain, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's like a continuous loop. And
it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know, Fatima, what about this if it was something along the lines of Nelson's column?
Well, it's something not a cost 46 million would be anything. I know nothing would be compared to the Queen Elizabeth. Nothing. Doesn't matter what they bought. Statue for
but the
billion,
column
3 billion,
that would
whatever.
cost a lot. A column would cost a lot. You could spend that, quite easily on a column.
Yeah, a column would cost far more. Of that scale,
there would be planning
issues. Can I ask Fatima a question? If Tessa's mentioned if it was sort of funded by the King, what if it was funded by sort of like a public campaign that we all contributed £10, £20, if that money added up to £46 million from around the world, would you still object to it? Is it the fact that it's government money that potentially... if it was private money, would you be happy?
Fatima.
Just go on.
Yes. I won't be happy even if it was private money because people are struggling.
OK, Fatima, thanks so much. Later.